Something big just went down in Israel that's sending shockwaves worldwide. Israeli commanders are on the move, Gaza is under fire, and Jerusalem, a city soaked in history, faces a new twist. Amidst the chaos, the Jewish community boldly aspires to rebuild the Third Temple. What is the entire thing going on? Well, let's dive into this video to explore the recent events, the Hamas-Israel clash, and the answer to the question, whether Muslims allow the Third Temple's reconstruction near the Dome of the Rock. In the Middle East, Israel and Palestine have been in a constant struggle for a very long time. They both claim Jerusalem as their capital, and this fight has been ongoing for centuries. Some say Israel has a right to Jerusalem because of its historical and religious importance. In contrast, others argue that Palestine, with its mainly Arab population, should own it because it's a crucial part of their identity. Something shocking just happened in Israel, and it's causing a lot of fear and concern worldwide. There's an ongoing conflict between Israelis and Hamas in the region, making the situation really scary. To make sense of the recent happenings, grasping why Jerusalem is so important, especially for the Jewish people, is crucial. Many Jews see recent events as fulfilling an Old Testament prophecy. Before we dig into these details, let's understand why Jerusalem is such a big deal. Significance of Jerusalem. Jerusalem isn't just any city, it's one of the oldest in the world. And it's packed with history and meaning. It's a place that has witnessed so much over the years. Now let's look closer at the recent happenings in Israel and why many Jews see them as fulfilling an Old Testament prophecy. The city has been a hub of huge religious, political, and cultural importance in the Eastern Mediterranean for ages. It's tied deeply to major religions like Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, making it a sacred spot for believers. For Jews, Jerusalem is the pinnacle. It's their holiest city and the spiritual capital. According to Jewish history, King Solomon built the first temple there around the 10th century BCE. This temple became a major center for Jewish worship. Even today, the Western Wall, also known as the Wailing Wall, stands in Jerusalem, a leftover remnant of the Second Temple destroyed by the Romans in 70 CE. This wall is super important. It's the only piece left from that old temple, and remains a crucial place of prayer and pilgrimage for Jews worldwide. For Christians, Jerusalem is intertwined with Jesus' life, crucifixion, and resurrection. It's where Jesus made his grand entrance on Palm Sunday, where the Last Supper happened, and where the whole crucifixion and resurrection occurred. One particular spot, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in the Old City of Jerusalem, is believed by many to be where Jesus was crucified, buried, and then rose from the dead. It's a sacred spot for them. On exploring Jerusalem deeply, you find many Christian sites that draw people from around the world. Christians in particular strongly support the Jewish claim to the Temple Mount. This backing comes from both historical and religious roots. For many Christians, Jerusalem is not just a city, it's sacred with deep connections to the Bible. They believe the Temple Mount, where the ancient Jewish temples stood, is crucial for Jews. It holds a special place in their religious history. Now, for Muslims, Jerusalem is a big deal too. It's the third holiest city, following Mecca and Medina. According to Islamic tradition, Prophet Muhammad had this incredible night journey from Mecca to Jerusalem, known as the Isra and Miraj. The Al-Aqsa Mosque, sitting right on the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, is thought to be the spot where Muhammad ascended to heaven. And the Dome of the Rock, also on the Temple Mount, is a super iconic Islamic shrine built in the 7th century. It's one of the oldest Islamic structures still standing, roots in the Hebrew Bible about Israel's beginnings. When we look at Israel, our main info comes from the Hebrew Bible. This sacred book traces Israel's origins all the way back to Father Abraham. Now, Abraham is a big deal for both Judaism and Islam. His second son, Isaac, played a major role in founding the Jewish faith. On the other hand, his first son, Ishmael, contributed to building the Islamic faith. So the roots of these religions run deep in the same family tree. Long ago, the Jews faced tough times. They got enslaved by the Egyptians because, as the story goes, they weren't exactly following the rules set by God. But a leader emerged after 400 years of this tough situation. That leader was Moses, and he led the Jews out of Egypt, finally reaching the land we now call Israel. Once settled in Israel, the Jews felt it was time for a king. They prayed, and their wish was granted. Saul became the first king around 10,000 BCE. But well, Saul didn't quite cut it as a ruler. So enter David. Under David's rule, Jerusalem was declared the capital of Israel. Fast forward thousands of years, and this decision still sparks debates and controversies about Jerusalem. The temple and the kingdom split. After King David passed away, his son Solomon took the throne. Solomon followed God's instructions and built the first Jewish temple. Interestingly, it wasn't on the Temple Mount. It was about 3 miles away. But hold on. After Solomon, things got complicated. Israel split into 2 parts, the south, called Israel, and the north, Judah. Stability didn't last long, though. The Assyrians invaded northern Israel in 722 BC, and that led to Jews being scattered around. Around 568 BC, the Babylonians took over the kingdom of Judah. This conquest led to the destruction of Solomon's temple and kicked off what's known as the Babylonian exile for the Israelites. But here's the twist. A few years later, the Persians came into play. They conquered Babylon and, in a major move, allowed the Israelites to go back home and rebuild their temple. Cue the joyous construction of the Second Temple in Jerusalem, happening around the 1st century BCE. However, joy was short-lived. The Jewish-Roman War brought in the Romans, the big shots of that time. Sadly, they destroyed the Second Temple. This marks just one episode in Israel's long history of enduring tough times. Despite facing the constant destruction of their temples and even going through the horrors of the Holocaust, the nation of Israel has shown incredible resilience. From a land that was 80% desert, they've turned it into a flourishing territory famous for exporting loads of fruits. Today, Israel has a thriving economy, a powerful tech industry, and a strong military. Now firmly established, Israel is eyeing Jerusalem again, with plans to build their third temple. Some see this as more than just construction. It symbolizes modern-day Christianity, the third temple's significance. While some may not see eye to eye on the matter, many hold various religious prophecies and beliefs about the reconstruction of the third temple. This construction isn't just about putting up a building, it's wrapped in layers of significance. It's seen as a precursor to the return of the Messiah, a central figure in various religious traditions. In Jewish eschatology, the study of end times, believers eagerly anticipate the Messianic age. This era is envisioned as a time of peace and spiritual enlightenment. The third temple is pivotal for them, serving as a meeting place between the divine and humanity. It's a symbol of harmony and connection with God. Christians, too, focus on the construction of the third temple, tying it to the expected return of Jesus Christ. Their interpretations draw from biblical passages, including references in the book of Ezekiel and the book of Revelation. These texts are seen as laying the groundwork for the importance of the new temple. The ancient temples of Jerusalem, particularly the first and second ones, are more than just historical landmarks for the Jewish community. They hold a special place in the hearts of believers, shaping their beliefs and hopes. The first temple, known for its magnificence, wasn't just a building. It was considered the earthly abode of God's presence, referred to as the Shekinah, sacred spaces. Further, in the heart of Jewish tradition lies the belief that the first temple held a sacred chamber, the Holy of Holies. This innermost sanctuary was considered the dwelling place of the divine presence. The destruction of this initial temple was not just an unfortunate incident, it marked a calamity in Jewish history. The consequences were dire, leading to the Babylonian exile. Following the Babylonian exile, the construction of the Second Temple became a symbol of resilience and faith for the Jewish people. Despite the challenges, they returned from exile with determination to rebuild their sacred site. While not as grand as the first, this Second Temple became a cornerstone of Jewish worship and rituals. It stands testament to the unwavering spirit of a community that rebuilt its sacred space. However, the Second Temple faced a tragic fate, this time at the hands of the Romans. Its destruction left an indelible mark on Jewish history and spirituality. The remnants, known as the Western Wall or the Wailing Wall, serve as a poignant symbol of Jewish perseverance and devotion. The ruins echo the pain of loss, a tangible connection to a time when their sacred space was taken away. Restoring connection. The Shea, residing within the Holy of Holies, symbolized the direct connection between God and the Jewish community. Rebuilding the Third Temple holds deep meaning. It's a way to restore this intimate connection, allowing people to experience the divine presence once more. It's like bringing a cherished relationship back to life. In Jewish beliefs, the coming of the Messiah is closely tied to the rebuilding of the temple. This Messiah is expected to bring ultimate redemption to the Jewish people. Reconstructing the temple is seen as a crucial step toward fulfilling these prophecies, marking the arrival of an era defined by peace and harmony. It's like the missing piece of a grand prophecy puzzle. The temple wasn't just a structure, but the heart of Jewish worship. Here, important rituals and sacrifices took place. Rebuilding the temple isn't just about bricks and stones. It's about reinstating these practices and reviving the essence of Jewish worship. It's like bringing back a tradition that holds great value. Beyond its spiritual significance, the historical temple is crucial to Jewish identity. It's not just a building. It represents their national and religious heritage. The temple stands as a symbol of their endurance and continuity, reminding us of their journey through history. Challenges in rebuilding the temple. Throughout history, the idea of rebuilding the temple has been a way to reaffirm and preserve Jewish heritage, traditions, and values. However, the prospect of a new Jewish temple in Jerusalem faces intricate challenges, political, religious, and practical obstacles that stand in the way of this monumental goal. One of the most significant political challenges revolves around the status of Jerusalem. Both Israelis and Palestinians claim the city as their capital. Any attempts to rebuild the temple could worsen tensions and impede peaceful negotiations. Jerusalem is a highly sensitive issue globally, and actions taken without mutual agreement can have far-reaching political consequences. The reconstruction of the temple became a politically charged endeavor. The international community closely watches developments in Jerusalem. Unilateral decisions or actions without consulting all parties involved can affect global perceptions. Rebuilding the temple isn't just a local matter, it's a concern that reaches far beyond borders. The eyes of the world are on Jerusalem, and any misstep can have implications for international relations. Practical challenges add another layer of complexity. The Temple Mount, the historical site where previous temples stood, now hosts two significant Islamic holy sites, the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock. Rebuilding the temple requires addressing issues of ownership, access, and maintaining a delicate religious balance on the Temple Mount. Respecting the rights and sensitivities of other religious communities, sharing the site is crucial. The archaeological aspect of rebuilding a temple on the Temple Mount is not to be underestimated. The site holds immense historical significance, with layers of history waiting to be uncovered. This adds a layer of complexity to the reconstruction process. Careful consideration is needed to ensure that archaeological discoveries are respected and integrated into the rebuilding efforts. The Temple Mount is a place where different religious communities intersect. Navigating the intricacies of ownership and access while preserving the religious harmony on the site requires diplomatic finesse. Building bridges between communities is vital to finding common ground and ensuring that the reconstruction process is inclusive. Navigating archaeological challenges. With layers of history dating back thousands of years, any construction on the Temple Mount site must carefully navigate the preservation and study of ancient artifacts and structures. Balancing the need for a new temple with the site's historical value requires expertise in archaeological preservation. To address these challenges, efforts to rebuild the temple must involve dialogue and collaboration among political, religious, and international authorities. Archaeological preservation experts play a crucial role in ensuring that the construction respects the site's historical significance. Finding a way to balance the profound religious hopes of the Jewish community with the complex political circumstances requires open dialogue. Collaboration among different faiths and communities is vital for fostering understanding and cooperation. The international community's involvement adds another layer of support in navigating these intricate challenges. It is important to recognize that views on rebuilding the temple and its significance vary widely among individuals and Jewish communities. While some actively work toward this goal, others prioritize different Jewish faith and practice aspects. This diversity of perspectives adds complexity to the discussion. Some within the Jewish community have taken significant steps in the journey toward reclaiming the Temple Mount. These include active involvement in faith-related activities, historical research, agricultural efforts, training of priests, and adherence to religious traditions. These steps reflect a multifaceted approach that aligns with various aspects of the Jewish faith and its historical significance. Reclaiming heritage. The role of the Sanhedrin. While certain segments of the Jewish population actively engage in efforts related to the Temple Mount, it is crucial to recognize the wide range of views and priorities on this matter among individuals and communities. The re-establishment of the Sanhedrin, a religious Jewish council in 2004, stands out as a significant development for those advocating rebuilding the temple. Though not officially recognized by the Israeli government, the Sanhedrin serves as a platform for religious scholars and experts to discuss and prepare for the Third Temple. Their primary goal is to revive Jewish law and temple services, actively participating in initiatives related to the temple's reconstruction. The council engages in in-depth discussions and examinations of the religious, legal, and practical aspects of rebuilding the temple. An intriguing step in the temple's reclamation is the recognition of Al-Aqsa as a Jewish ritual cleansing site. This recognition finds support in archaeological findings, notably the work of British archaeologist Robert Hamilton. Evidence suggests that Alaska was built on a site historically used for Jewish purification rituals, including a mikveh, ritual bath. This discovery adds historical weight to the argument for rebuilding the temple, establishing a connection between contemporary Jewish practices and the temple's historical significance. The recognition of Al-Aqsa as a ritual cleansing site strengthens the connection between modern Jewish practices and the historical traditions associated with the temple. By acknowledging historical evidence, researchers and advocates contribute to the narrative supporting the temple's reconstruction. This recognition adds depth to the understanding of how contemporary Jewish rituals align with the practices rooted in the temple's historical significance. Preparing for the temple's return. Cultivating farms and forests emerges as a critical step in the preparations for the temple's return. The Sanhedrin highlights the significance of plants in temple rituals, especially the offering of agricultural produce. The goal is to recreate the environmental conditions of ancient Israel, ensuring the availability of specific crops for offerings when the temple is rebuilt. Efforts are underway to cultivate specific crops and forests, creating an environment aligned with past religious and cultural practices. Training more Kohanim, the priests who are descendants of Aaron, is a significant expression of faith. Despite the absence of an actual temple, efforts are made to train Kohanim in rituals, ceremonies, and the usage of temple equipment. This training ensures that the knowledge and skills required for future temple services are preserved within the priestly class. Proponents believe training Kohanim is crucial for maintaining continuity in priestly traditions and being fully prepared for the resumption of temple practices. The red heifer's production is a paramount step in temple preparations. According to Jewish tradition, the ashes of a red heifer are essential for purification rituals before entering the temple. Red heifers are rare and must meet stringent purity and unblemished criteria. Dedicated efforts have been made to breed and raise red heifers that meet these requirements, employing specific animal husbandry techniques. The production of a suitable red heifer is vital for resuming temple practices, ensuring that religious laws and traditions can be upheld through the necessary purification rituals. Diverse perspectives on temple preparations. Moreover, recognizing the diversity of views within the Jewish community regarding the steps taken for temple preparations is essential. While some actively engage in these efforts as part of their faith and commitment to temple rebuilding, others may hold different perspectives or prioritize alternative approaches to Jewish religious practice. The issue of the Third Jewish Temple and the Temple Mount sparked a range of international reactions influenced by historical, political, and religious factors. Countries with strong ties to Israel or significant Jewish populations express support for Jewish access to the Temple Mount and the potential construction of the Third Temple. They view it as a matter of religious freedom or support Israel's rights in the region. Interestingly, numerous countries, including some Arab and Muslim-majority nations, advocate for maintaining the status quo arrangement on the Temple Mount. They emphasize the importance of preserving the delicate balance and avoiding actions that could destabilize the region or hinder peace efforts. Concerns about actions that might exacerbate tensions or impede Israeli-Palestinian peace negotiations are expressed. The ongoing conflict in the region, as seen in the recent attack on Israel, introduces significant challenges and complexities to the prospects of a peaceful accord. Israel's leadership has made a steadfast commitment to protecting the land they believe was given to them by God. This commitment could have far-reaching implications for potential normalization deals with other countries, such as Saudi Arabia. The outcome remains uncertain, but many are confident that God is watching over his people and in charge of the events unfolding worldwide. So, what do you think of the events happening in Israel that shocked the whole world? Comment below and subscribe for more.